Hi, this is Mark Geldens from the Madison Financial Group, talking about self-managed super funds and the benefits self-managed super funds can offer. Things I'm going to go through today is the control that we have through self-managed super funds, the investment choice that we have, the ability for the fund to buy direct property, whether it be residential or commercial, the ability for the fund to be able to borrow to buy property or other assets via what we call a limited recourse loan, estate planning aspects and strategies around self-managed super, and some pension benefits. Unlike most of the other super funds around, a self-managed super fund provides the members with total control of the investments that they have, whether it be shares, property, managed funds, cash. The members of the self-managed super fund can make the choices around the assets and investment strategy that they have to suit their needs, their financial goals and objectives, what they're trying to achieve, not only for now, but into the future, and then for their retirement. So you have total control over your investments rather than a limited choice through some of the other funds that are available out there on the market. The choice of investments through self-managed super funds are wide and varied. We can have direct shares, we can have managed funds, international funds, cash, term deposits, fixed interest securities, bonds, you name it. A self-managed super fund allows us to have that in our investment strategy. Not only that, we have the choice of direct property, commercial property. We can have collectibles. Some people have wine, artworks, things like that in their fund. There are certainly criteria around holding those that we need to be very careful of. There are investment criteria governed by legislation that the members need to be aware of. But in a broad sense, we're able to have a very wide investment choice through the management of a self-managed superannuation fund. One of the main strategic benefits of a self-managed super fund is its ability to buy direct property. It's the only type of superannuation fund that the members are able to buy direct property, whether it be residential or whether it be commercial. So the fund can buy units, houses, residential, cannot buy assets, residential property from a member directly, but can certainly buy it from a third party, and can buy commercial property, such as their own business premises or other business premises. A lot of the strategies that people are employing are having their business premises placed or bought by their self-managed super fund to get the benefits of the rent being paid down to their own retirement fund rather than another third party. The self-managed super fund is also able to borrow now to buy residential property or other assets. Now, this concept of a limited recourse loan that the fund's able to use, whereas it cannot encumber, of course, its own assets, but it's able to encumber the asset that it's about to buy, such as the property. So it enables you to put a large asset in a self-managed super fund in a normal course where you wouldn't be able to by way of this limited recourse borrowing. Estate planning is a very important factor when it comes to protecting your assets for future generations. What a self-managed super fund allows us to do is strategise, as compared to some of the other super funds around, strategise in how we're able to distribute those assets, both from a tax effective and asset protection point of view. What I do find though is that estate planning in self-managed super is not handled very well. A lot of cases, people think that they have their assets protected. They think they have a will which talks about their assets and their superannuation assets, but what they don't realise is that their will has no jurisdiction over the assets in their superannuation fund, any superannuation fund, but particularly self-managed super. So we need to make sure that we've got the right documentation in our self-managed super fund to make sure that their assets are being distributed to the people that you want to be distributed to. Often the case, we find there's a document called a binding nomination, which is just a standard one-page document. It doesn't really provide any strategic value. It only allows for the distribution of assets by way of a percentage basis. But what concerns me more so is that most often these documents, when they're prepared, are invalid. They don't adhere with the rules of the deed, rules of the fund which are the deed. They aren't signed appropriately, they aren't witnessed appropriately. So even though somebody thinks they may be covered with a binding nomination, they find that it's actually invalid. So there are opportunities available to take that one step further and have what we call a self-managed super fund will, a non-lapsing binding nomination that actually becomes part of the deed of the fund, a rule of the fund, so that it doesn't matter who controls the fund after death, they must adhere to the rules of the fund, so you know that your assets are protected and will be distributed to the parties or the beneficiaries that you wish them to. That type of document also allows for great strategic value, is enabling us to distribute some assets of the fund to dependents and other assets to non-dependents. An overall estate plan should be multi-generational plan, covering not only the assets in super but all of the assets outside of super. So when we do estate planning in self-managed super, we need to make sure we're covering all of those aspects. What a self-managed super fund allows us to do from a pension point of view, as distinct from some of the other funds available, is the flexibility of stopping and starting pensions that are appropriate to the individual's needs. Rolling from transitional to retirement pensions to account-based pensions, rolling assets from accumulation to pension phase or back from pension phase to accumulation phase at the appropriate time. So if you had any questions on establishing a self-managed super fund or any of the strategies that are available for a self-managed super fund, of those that may already be in one, please don't hesitate to contact me either on my direct line at work, 9431 7045, my mobile 041 041 5566, or via email mark@sherlockgeldensfc.com.au. Thank you.